He exposed her entire narrative in real time, because beneath the fiery speech was a coordinated attempt to turn ordinary Americans against each other while hiding who actually caused the shutdown crisis. What you're about to see isn't passion, it's performance. And the truth cracks through every line.
Well, good morning, everybody. Again, here we are. Yesterday, Americans woke up to an unthinkable reality. And Carlos touched on it earlier. A communist was elected mayor in America's largest city. How did this happen? Ask yourself, how did this happen? It happened because a small socialist portion of this country took control of the Democrat Party. A party that is now apparently united behind a socialist agenda. And slogans always seem to start with the same word: free. Free food, free rent, free buses, right? I feel like I'm at an Oprah Winfrey show. You get a car and you get a car. Well, this isn't the Oprah Winfrey show. And like many of you, my parents taught me a really good lesson when I was young. Nothing is free. Everything comes with a cost. Absolutely nothing is free. We all learned that. Look no further than the Democrats' disastrous shutdown plan. They want to give free health care to illegals. Come to our country. We'll give you, illegally mind you, we'll give you free health care on the backs of hard-working Americans. And in demanding that, they're asking for $1.5 trillion in wasteful spending and a painful shutdown. A shutdown that has denied food assistance to 42 million American families. 42 million American families. A shutdown that has forced law enforcement to work without pay. But don't worry, I'm sure those law enforcement agents can go and get free food from their local grocery store, and somebody will pay their free rent, right? Yeah, I live in reality, not fantasy. The Democrats want to jeopardize our national security. And now, flights have been reduced by 10% at 40 of our major airports. I think air traffic, like when you get on a plane, what's next? Like your plane rides are going to be free too? I mean, why stop at food and buses? Let's just give everything free. It doesn't work like that, people. Nothing's free. Somebody is paying. And who pays? Anybody want to guess who pays? Hardworking taxpayers, American taxpayers. That's who pay. Nothing's free, right? Nothing is free. Look at your Republican leaders. Just compare and contrast. That's why we voted more than a month ago to actually fund the government. That's why we've been working in our districts to help those that are suffering. And that's why we are delivering real results that drive down gas prices and drive down mortgage rates and drive down the price of eggs. No one's reporting on the price of eggs anymore, right? Now, not for illegals, not for radicals, and not for communists who despise this country, but for the men and women who love America, like Carlos and his family who came over. And let's keep it that way, and let's make sure that we keep America strong every day. So to the Democrats, let me be clear. Republicans will still be there when your communist lawmakers aren't. And when your communist kingmakers finally give you permission to put Americans first again, Republicans will still be here. We'll still be here when your socialist experiment collapses, because it always does. And we'll still be standing shoulder to shoulder with the hardworking Americans who aren't demanding free groceries, free buses, free rent. No, we will be standing shoulder to shoulder, demanding nothing less than freedom. That is what Republicans demand, freedom. Because that's what makes this country great. Not socialism, not government control, but freedom. Thank you.
All right, questions?
What you just witnessed was not a warning about socialism. It was a carefully engineered spectacle designed to redirect blame, intensify fear, and rewrite reality while millions of Americans are left struggling through a manufactured crisis. The speaker framed the election of a communist mayor as some kind of national collapse, but that wasn't the point. The real objective was to shift responsibility for the shutdown away from the very people who engineered it and place it squarely onto anyone who dares to disagree with them. She repeated the same refrain over and over: nothing is free, but she conveniently left out the part where Americans are already paying through disrupted food assistance, paying through stalled paychecks for public servants, paying through flight delays, and paying through the anxiety that comes from watching political leaders treat governance like a cable news monologue. 42 million families depend on food assistance. That's not a talking point. That's a national reality. And instead of acknowledging the human cost, she turned those families into props for a speech built on outrage rather than answers. This is where the power structure shows itself. When elected officials weaponize phrases like illegals and communists, when they imply that food assistance is charity instead of necessity, when they pretend the shutdown is some kind of righteous stand against fantasy giveaways, they're not speaking to the people suffering, they're speaking past them, protecting themselves, protecting their party's narrative, protecting the idea that the government's failures are someone else's fault. And here's the emotional weight hidden beneath all that fire: law enforcement officers working without pay, families facing reduced SNAP support, travelers stranded in airports, workers waiting for a government to reopen. These are real people. People who didn't ask to be caught in a shutdown chess match, but they were invisible in her speech. Not a single moment of empathy, not a single acknowledgement of pain, just slogans packaged as courage. So you have to ask yourself, who benefits from this kind of rhetoric? Who gains when a politician paints a mayoral election as proof of national collapse? Who wins when Americans are turned against one another with labels like communist, radical, and illegals? Certainly not the families missing meals, certainly not the workers missing paychecks, certainly not the country that's supposed to operate under a constitution, not under theatrics, because at the heart of this moment lies a simple truth. No one is above the Constitution, no matter how loudly they speak, no matter how dramatic the slogans, no matter how aggressively they point fingers. Shutdowns have causes, policies have consequences, and leadership requires responsibility, not just applause lines. If what you heard today felt off, if it felt performative, divisive, almost rehearsed, that's because it was. And moments like this demand that we stay awake, stay loud, and stay unwilling to let fear replace facts. Share this video so the truth cuts through the noise. Subscribe so you never miss what they hope you don't notice. And remember, the louder the performance, the more they're trying to hide.